Coming up, our special report on the number one jinx. During the rock era, 55 recording artists who made it to number one have never hit the top 40 again.
American Top 40.
Now, our special report on a number one jinx. You'd think that getting a number one hit would be the greatest thing that could possibly happen to a recording act. But listen to this. In the rock era, approximately 1 of every 7 recording acts who have hit number one have never hit the top 40 again. And look at some of the acts that it's happened to. Giants like Louis Armstrong, who hit the top 40 with Mac the Knife, Blueberry Hill, then his number one jinx song, Hello Dolly. The great folk trio, Peter, Paul, and Mary, had 11 top 40s, and then their number one jinx, Leaving on a Jet Plane. Mr. Entertainment, Sammy Davis Jr., had 7 top 40s leading up to his number one, The Candyman. And the English supergroup Pink Floyd hit number one with Another Brick in the Wall and never came back to the 40. It's also happened with younger artists like Debby Boone. Now, Debbie had a real big hit called You Light Up My Life, many, many weeks at number one, and then never hit the 40 again on the pop chart. Altogether, during the rock era, 57 recording acts, when they finally hit number one, have never returned to the pop top 40. That's not merely interesting, it's mighty weird. The number one jinx. And the countdown continues on American Top 40.
American Top 40.
AT40 originates in Hollywood. I'm Lee Sherwood doing the countdown for Casey Kasem this week. Now, our special report on the number one jinx. Since the start of the rock era back in 1955 and up through 1979, a total of 361 recording acts have made it to number one, and 55 of those acts have never hit the top 40 again. I repeat, there are 55 recording acts who hit number one and never made the top 40 again. And this list includes some of the most famous and successful people in show business, artists who had some of the biggest hits in the rock era. Famous stars of the music world like Louis Armstrong, Johnny Mathis, Peter, Paul, and Mary. Once they had hit number one, however successful they continued to be in every other area of show business, they never returned to the top 40. Some are artists whose number one songs are among the biggest hits of the rock era. Kiki Dee in a number one duet with Elton John called Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Zager and Evans with their number one song that stayed at the top for 6 weeks in the year 2525. And a woman with one of the biggest hits in chart history, 10 weeks at number one for Debby Boone with You Light Up My Life. And after those giant number one hits, those artists never made the pop top 40 again. So does all this mean that getting to number one is bad news? Well, not necessarily. But 55 recording artists could tell you that a number one smash can be both a blessing and a curse. And that's our special report on the number one jinx. Thanks to Janice Udy of Los Angeles for sending in the question that prompted our report.
Casey's Coast to